umpires, learning the ropes. It's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Hey folks, good to be with you for tonight's game. My name is Andy Simpson and I'm a licensed IHSAA football official, and welcome to Friday Night Football powered by IndianaSRN. On behalf of the 340 football officials, the IHSAA, the crew here at IndianaSRN, we hope you enjoyed tonight's game, and more important, don't forget to subscribe to the IndianaSRN YouTube page. As you're watching tonight's contest, I'm going to show you a few of our signals that will help you better understand the information we are trying to convey. Touchdown, safety, first down, holding or illegal use of hands, encroachment, or offsides commonly known, false start or illegal formation on the offense, or a free kick scrimmage violation, face mask, intentional grounding, roughing the passer, clipping, illegal shift, illegal motion, illegal block, pass interference by the offense or the defense, delay of game, and the one signal we dislike and you as fans don't like seeing, unsporting. We'd like to thank everyone for tuning in tonight and following us on IndianaSRN. You can also tune in to the Football Weekly Show and Coach's Show every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on IndianaSRN.org. Finally, if you've ever thought about becoming an IHSAA official, www.ihsaa.org and click on the Officials tab or call the IHSAA office at 317-846-6601. Now, sit back and enjoy the game.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Bishop Chatard High School. It's the final night of the high school football regular season. The playoffs begin next week, and tonight it's the unbeaten Trojans, ranked number 1 in 3A in the state of Indiana at 8-0, hosting the Panthers of Cincinnati Elder, coming into tonight's game at 4-3. Tonight's game being brought to you in part by the Morales Group. Building better futures, one story at a time. Aspen Creek Grill. Why go anywhere else for delicious food? Burtner Electric, providing quality electrical services in central Indiana. Boilermaker 374. We're second to none in quality and performance. Clean Slate, inspired innovation that moves business forward. Piper Logistics, from warehousing to transportation and everything in between. And by Drumstick Dash 2023. Move your feet so others can eat. Rain is expected in this final night of the regular season here in high school football, and there's plenty of storylines coming into this one tonight as well. Troy Nargowski along with Jared Thomas. We are now down to the final week. We always talk about how hard it is to believe that we're finally here because it does go pretty fast. But now it's on the doorstep, and most of these teams, or all the teams in Indiana, are also thinking about next week.
Who would have known that we would start at Bishop Chatard for the opening preseason scrimmage and then end the season at the very same location? Not to be remiss, but this is a Chatard team that's undefeated coming into today. So you just know that as they get ready for the season finale, getting ready for the playoffs, going after another state championship, they're going to be fired up despite the rain because they know an undefeated season definitely propels them into a playoff push.
What is the biggest thing in your estimation as a former player when you come into the last game? You certainly want to keep your mind on the task ahead of you and not look ahead, because when you look ahead, that's when you get beat. But what's the main focus in this final game, especially for Bishop Chatard?
No matter where you are as a football player, because in high school, everyone makes the playoffs in the state of Indiana. But it's a little bit different when you get to the collegiate level. So no matter where you are, high school or college, you always want the last game of the season to be the most impressionable thing that you think about going into the offseason or going into the playoffs. For this Bishop Chatard team and a lot of the teams in the state of Indiana, they're going to look back at this game because they may have a bye week in between. So they don't want to go into that bye week getting ready for the playoffs with a sour taste in their mouth. So just want to make sure you put a cap to this season in the right fashion and get the win.
Let's start with the elephant in the room right now, and that is a Bishop Chatard team. We're going to start with them tonight because we don't know if Aiden Ortega is going to start tonight. We saw him warming up, so he might start, or it might be Jack Harrington, who's played well in his absence.
Well, the makeup of this team for Bishop Chatard is everyone's going to contribute. They have a couple different quarterbacks, as you've already mentioned. They do a running back by committee with Riley Kennett and then Daniel Shaw, who's definitely been a willing and able runner so far this season. And then at the wide receiver position, it starts with Colin Guy, and then you have Jack Waybright, and then you move on to Harrison Forstall. So they have a lot of guys that can contribute, and it's boded well because we're looking at an undefeated season, and they're doing something right.
And that defense, I tell you what, when you get to this point, you're only giving up, less than 10 points per game, and you look at what in the last 4 games, I think they've given up a total of 16 points. That defense is tough.
It starts with linebacker Luke Perica, Sam Feeney, and then Eddie Benson, who also shows up in the stat line as well, picking up some of those other linebackers' loose change. But Sam Feeney, the standout top 247 composite player coming into tonight, already has a few offers. I mean, he is the figurehead for this defense. He gets everything going. That's who they look to. And then you have everyone else that kind of contributes. And I also want to make sure we highlight the back end of this defense. That's a defensive group that last year was almost looked at as the weak part of the Chatard team. They have gotten some experience, and it's obviously shown in their performance this year.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about Cincinnati Elder coming into this one after beating this Bishop Chatard team last year. We'll talk about them coming up in a moment. Celebrated football season with us. We're looking out for sponsors to join us in supporting the Trojan playoffs. If you'd like to see your brand associated with these thrilling games, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Coach at IndianaSRN.org to explore sponsorship opportunities today.
To you. Standing with us. You are truly making a difference in the lives of our neighbors in need.
Back once again here at Bishop Chatard High School. Let's talk about the Panthers of Cincinnati Elder. Play a tough schedule. They've got a lot of football pedigree, and you come out of Cincinnati, we know there's a lot of good teams down there. What do you know about the Panthers?
I know a little bit about Cincinnati football, but probably more so Ohio football. So week in and week out, you are going to play tough opponents. That's just what it is. And even for Elder in the Greater Catholic League South division over in Cincinnati, they have Archbishop Moeller, St. Xavier, and LaSalle High School, all powerhouses in the city of Cincinnati. So they're battle-tested. I know they're a little disappointed not getting the job done as far as a division championship this year. They've missed the mark since 2015. But this is a team that's going to come in, have some big-time players on their roster. I think about left tackle, left guard, Jacob Shores going to Miami of Ohio. Defensive lineman, Liam McKinney, who's headed to Army, 6'4", 230 pounds. So coming into this season, Coach Ramsey talked about having experience with 3 starters on both sides of the offensive line and defensive line. So you have size and experience. That's always a good recipe for success.
And when you look at their quarterback, Ryan Brass, I know I saw some film on him, loves to run the football.
Yes, he does. And he has a little bit of a funky arm release on his throwing motion, but it seems to get the job done because he's got his team in great position. But as you said, he's definitely going to put his head down, try and get as many yards as he can, and he's definitely done that because he is almost at the 700-yard mark as of a few weeks ago just running the ball. So that's remarkable for a quarterback.
And then, of course, Josh Meares, the wide receiver, you look at him, and he's really a very, very good receiver.
Every quarterback in football has a go-to receiver, and Meares is exactly that for Brass. So I know that connection is going to be alive and well tonight.
All right, keys to this one for this evening.
When I think about Bishop Chatard, this is a game where you're going to play probably one of your tougher opponents this season. So you just have to, on the defensive side, stop them so you give your offense a chance to win. So I look at defensive intensity for Bishop Chatard. And then for Elder, I know that they believe as a team coming from Cincinnati, they play a lot of big-time football. So they just have to play to their standard. And so for them, it's just playing to that Cincinnati Elder standard and trusting that they'll get the win.
All right, Joe Roth will tee it up at the 40. We're ready to go on this one here this evening. One of those deep for Bishop Chatard will be Daniel Shaw. And it will be Shaw on the return. He gets hit hard at the 25-yard line, and that's where he'll take over at 1st and 10. Now the question is, will it be Harrington or will it be Artegan? It looks like it will be Harrington. So the decision is made. And I'm not sure. Again, there was a question mark with Arteaga because of the injury, but he was warming up. But if you stay with Harrington, he's been doing pretty well.
And all that was just gamemanship by this Bishop Chatard staff. They know, hey, at least we'll make it look like he's going to play if we send him out in warm-ups knowing they had no intention. So I tip my cap for them for the gamesmanship.
All right, 1st and 10, final game of the regular season. They'll play action, and it'll be Forstall, the tight end, at the 35, and a first down all the way near the 39-yard line. Nice way to start the game.
I often sound like a broken record, but anytime you come into any game and you can just get an easy game that gets you a first down like Chatard just did there, everyone feels more comfortable. That's a great way to start. So I like the play call so far for Bishop Chatard.
By the way, Campbell, Troy, Wright, Woods, and Arteaga, they've been the starting 5 all season long. Colin Guy, Jack Waybright, Ryan Keating. Mentioned Forstall a moment ago. You'll see a lot of Roman Barraza tonight as well. Here's Shaw, and he's going to be close to another first down. Brought down at around the 49-yard line. 2 big plays already.
There's not much letdown when you think about Riley Kennett and then you think about Daniel Shaw. Daniel's probably a little bit smaller than Riley, but just as effective. He's almost got 700 yards coming into today. And the thing I love about their game is just one cut and getting downhill because trust your speed, trust your offensive line to create the hole, and then you use your athletic ability to do the rest.
And that was good enough for a first down. As Bishop Chatard will give it to Shaw again. Nice hole. He'll get about 4 out of this one. Smaller crowd here tonight than we normally see. Of course, everybody anticipating the rain, and that could be a factor once we get going as well.
It's just a little bit of water. A little bit of water hasn't hurt anyone.
You know, you need to tell the fans we didn't show up tonight.
Maybe I'll open this window and give them a little PSA.
It'll be 2nd down after a gain of 4. Game started about 15 minutes early. And they'll throw out here in the flat. Forstall with the reception. Breaks a tackle there inside the 40. And another nice play for the tight end who came in with 28 receptions.
Chatard's offensive makeup has always been predicated on the run game and tight end involvement. So no matter what they do as a team, it starts and ends with the tight ends because you need tight ends in the run game on the edges, and then you need tight ends to do what we saw there and just catch it, get another first down.
By the way, Sam Feeney, who is one of the better linebackers you'll see in the state, lined up as a tight end tonight as well. Here's Shaw over the right side, inside the 35, brought down near the 33. By the way, that defense, Heights, Ginn, and McKenna up front. Arnold, Dugan, Fortcamp, and Gollan are the linebackers, with Prestel, Stallmeyer, Sandhaus, and Summers as your 4 defensive backs there for Elder. So it's going to be 2nd down and 6. Harrington coming in with 441 yards, again filling in for Aiden Ortega, the senior starter. Fake the handoff. Harrington trying to find running room around the left side, might get back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it.
This Elder defense has some great defensive linemen up front leading the charge, but I see number 22 for Cincinnati Elder, Maddox Arnold. That's their prototypical linebacker coming out of Elder. He's already got 9 offers, most of the MAC, and even has Purdue coming out of the Big Ten. I mean, just a longer guy, big, strong, and physical, so he's already in on the action, and I know he's going to make his mark as we continue tonight.
He looks like a football player. No doubt about that. 3rd down and 6. First 3rd down tonight for Bishop Chatard. Pass over the middle. Ball's going to be caught by Waybright. He'll be about a yard short of the first down.
The other thing that this offensive game plan does, it gets Jack Harrington feeling good. You get a couple completions, no matter if they go for a couple yards and then allow the receiver to do the rest, that's building confidence, because as the game goes on, Elder's going to make adjustments, but then it's going to be on Chatard to make some plays, and it might have to be through the air. So I like what I'm seeing so far from Harrington.
Colin Guy to the near side, 24 receptions on the year. Big 4th down right here, 4th down and 1. See if the Trojans will actually go for it right here. You see Harrington checking the line of scrimmage. He will give it to Daniel Shaw. 1st down and more inside the 25 to the 23.
The left side of this Chatard offensive line is being headed up by Harrison Campbell. Now, I have to be honest, on the depth chart, it says he's 6'5", 315 pounds. On his huddle and max preps, as you see him denting down the left side of that line, giving just enough for Daniel to get through for the 1st down. But on his huddle and his max preps, it shows 6'4", 295. So I don't know if the big fella is trying to shave some pounds, but I do know anytime he makes contact, defenders go backwards.
Here is Harrington throwing to the near side, ball caught and out of bounds, and there is the very dangerous Colin Guy. Are you saying he's slimming down just to make things look better, or what?
What I'm saying is us big fellas, we may be bigger than what is documented, but that's just because we don't want people to say, man, he's fat.
Well taken. Thank you. I'm glad you explained that. 1st down for the Trojans as the drive continues.
But no matter how much he weighs, the big fella is light on his feet. He's physical at the point of contact and does a pretty good job in pass protection as well.
Forrestal will reset to the near side. Low snap, handoff, Shaw up the middle. Shaw brought down inside the 10 near the 9.
And he's going to have his hands full going against big number 90, as I talked about in the pregame, Liam McKenna. I mean, this is a physical defensive lineman that's going to go play at a school like Army that all they do is run the ball. Yeah. So you have to believe that their defensive linemen have to know how to take on run blocks. And so Harrison's going to have his hands full, but nonetheless, a great battle in the trenches tonight.
2nd down and 7. 2 receivers to the left, hash mark near right side. It'll be Shaw over the right side. Big hole inside the 5. Touchdown. What a drive for Bishop Chatard in their first possession of the game.
We're just going to keep with the action when we talk about offensive linemen. Big number 72, Andrew Troy, does a great job as he's pulling around. It's a 2-part thing. He pulls around, makes a great block, getting inside out on the linebacker. Watch him right here. Just get his eyes across. Daniel Shaw does a great job setting it up, cutting underneath, and gets in the end zone for an early touchdown.
Wow, that was impressive, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
So now the extra point. Here's Chapman. He's been busy this year. Kick is on the way, and it is good. 7:30 remaining, opening period. Trojans lead at 7-0.
We really focus on modern application development, DevOps, so automating the whole process of delivering your solution, and cloud architecture.
It's very important for mid to large companies to have cloud partners, because you can't possibly have all the talent you need to address the complex ecosystem of the cloud.
We advise them on all parts of their business. And then when things are defined and we see a clear goal, Clean Slate also then goes and does the work.
We have a team that is very passionate about what they do. We love to solve complex problems, and there's a lot of companies out there that will avoid, getting involved in those things, and I think that's why clients like to work with us.
Evan Meyer, one of the deep men, along with Charlie Baker. The kick will sail to the 5-yard line. Elder on the return here to the near side, breaking a tackle across the 25, driven out of bounds here in the near side. That's going to be Christopher Paff on the return. So we will see Elder Ryan Brass, 6'2", 205. He is a senior. Look at some of the numbers. We talked about him in the pregame. He's been very impressive this season.
One of the games that I look at for his impression on me as I'm evaluating him is the game against St. Xavier that went into overtime just a few weeks back. And that was right before they lost to Moeller. So there was a lot of momentum leaving St. Xavier, but he had 239 passing yards, 128 rushing yards, and even had the game-winning touchdown and 2-point conversion to seal the deal in overtime.
Well, he's going to get the call right out of the chute to the 30, just a little bit across the 30. Of course, keep an eye on Josh Maris, his favorite receiver at 6 foot 185.
A lot of the Cincinnati Elder quarterback runs come from an empty set with attached tight ends or wings. So anytime you see no running back next to Brass in the backfield, usually it's a quarterback run because it fits well with what we've already said in Brass liking to use his legs.
Brass, big fella, too, at 205. He'll be a tough one to bring down. Trips to the right, hash mark to the left. 2nd down and 7, and we've got a timeout already by Cincinnati Elder. Trojans lead at 7-0.
We encourage you to follow us on Twitter at IndianaSRN. Find upcoming games, video highlights, and much more. Follow us now at IndianaSRN.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
My name is Jay Jones. I'm the commissioner of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, and we appreciate you tuning in to tonight's game. We hope you'll stay tuned to SRN for tomorrow's Heartland Conference Game of the Week.
Following the timeout, Elder has it 2nd down and 7. Once again, Brass on the carry, going to get close to that 1st down. And if you watched film, and I know you have, he does a lot of that where he pretends he's going to throw and then he takes off.
It's all just an illusion that you're going to go deep because I think Coach Ramsey and his staff understands that they were in a 3-quarterback battle back in the spring. They had to figure out who was going to be their quarterback, and I assume that Brass just gives them a little bit more playmaking and not just standing as a statue in the backfield.
Got enough for the 1st down. This time the handoff over the right side. That's going to be Joey Thaman on the carry. Not a very big running back when you look at his size at about 145, so they've got some big backs.
Yes, they do. But even Coach Ramsey, as I got ready for this game, he talked about at the running back position not having a lot of depth and being of importance to get healthy through the season and stay healthy. And so part of the quarterback runs is to maybe take a load off the running backs because you know you don't get much production out of them just by committee. So I understand the schematics and what Elder does offensively.
2nd down and 9. There's some jumping on the near side. Looked like that was Maris who wanted to get that head start. Linebacker Tremaine ended up giving him a little bit of a shove right there at the very beginning. Lucas Tremaine, the outside linebacker.
Not the false start play, but the play before, I saw Jacob Shores, the left tackle for Elder. One of the things I noticed as I'm watching him, he's going to ensure that his guy is nowhere near the play. So that's either a pancake or just staying with him long enough to irritate him just a little bit. And that's exactly what he did on that play, taking number 50, Cam Winston, out of the play just enough to see a little shove from Winston at the end. So Shores already starting his irritants.
Brass to throw, and a great defensive play on the outside. Well, I tell you what, Colin Guy, really tough coming up from that safety spot, making the stop there.
I'm thinking about how Bishop Chatard has receivers, and a lot of schools do, that play both sides of the ball. So you see receivers playing defensive backs. And then I watch them go block on the offensive side of the ball, and I'm like, man, they're really sticking their nose in there. It makes sense because he's flying downhill making tackles like that.
All right, big third down and long. They'll have to get to the 47-yard line for the first down. Braden Boeing is one of the two receivers to the far side. Hash mark left. Brass to throw. Has time. Ball's going to be caught at the 40 and brought down shy of the first down marker on the reception. That was Boeing. And you're looking now at fourth down and about 6 now to get the first down.
Coach Ramsey is definitely a coach that is more traditional, and he's not going to go for too many fourth downs. And I know we live in an age where analytics come into play, and even at the high school level, you want more possessions. But I guarantee, as we see now, he's going to punt the ball, and he trusts his defense despite the lackadaisical start for his offense.
And we'll have you tell the story, the Ramsey name sounds familiar.
Yes, it does.
We always know that you do your homework, and that's what we like about you, young man. Colin Guy returned from the 20. Trying to find room to the outside. The cutback, 30, 35, out to the 36-yard line. All right, tell us about the Ramsey name that everybody that's an IU football fan ought to know about.
Well, those that pay attention to Cincinnati Elder, or even just the Ramsey name, Coach Doug Ramsey is in his 27th season. That's a long time to do anything. I mean, I just turned 27, and I feel like I've been around for a long time. But when I see things like that, I'm like, wow. But his son, Peyton goes off to Indiana University as a quarterback, sees some action in 2019, even though he lost the quarterback battle to Michael Penix, who is now at University of Washington, who's potentially going to be a Heisman winner this year. Well, now Peyton is back coaching the quarterbacks for this Elder Panther team, as well as his little brother Drew, who's also helping his dad with the running backs. But then when you just look at the Ramsey family, they've been a cornerstone in Cincinnati just as a high school for a long time. 215 wins for Coach Ramsey, so he's doing a great job with this program. And like I said earlier, anytime you do something for 27 years, you must be doing something right.
Boy, no kidding. Gain of about, no gain, they say, on that one. I thought maybe he picked up at least a yard, so it'll be second down. That was Shaw on the carry. That's a lot of time to put in.
Yes, it is.
To one thing, isn't it? Especially coaching high school football. So now Harrington out of the shotgun, fakes the handoff. Will be pressured to the near side. Going to make something positive out of this one as he dives ahead to about the 44. Great play there by Harrington.
Elder understands that Colin Guy is going to be the down the field threat for the Chatard offense. So I saw there running some sort of post concept, but there was a safety over the top. I know Harrington was looking to make that connection. It was just no sledding on that one. Puts his head down, gets what he can, and gets in third and manageable.
See the clock coming up on, in fact, now under 3 minutes here in this opening period of play. Forstall will reset to the left. Handoff, sweep to the right. There's Shaw, cut back, and he had maybe one tackler to beat there, and he might have been gone.
That's what it is. It's just one cut. Just put your foot in the ground and get vertical. Anytime as a defender someone's approaching you, they're already, in a sense, out of control because they're running full speed to chase a ball carrier that has the advantage going forward. So if you just put your foot in the ground like Shaw did, you get close to breaking one, but the one he doesn't break this half is the one that he goes for a long one in the second.
Shaw having a sensational year filling in for Riley Kinnett, who's out with the injury. He could be back by next week. Harrington rolling, throwing, ball caught. Another first down, 35-yard line. And there is Colin Guy again. He came in with 24 receptions, 6 touchdowns. You talked about how dangerous he can be.
He gets 45 targets on the season. So as a deep threat, you're going to get an opportunity to make an imprint on the game. We saw it against Cathedral, the 35-yard touchdown reception from Ortega for the win. So he's going to get a bulk of the load, and we see why, because sure-handed receiver that gets the job done.
So another first down, second possession here tonight for Bishop Chatard. 4 wideouts in the lineup now. Man in motion, that'll be Waybright. He'll make the catch to the 30, brought down near the 25-yard line.
I like two things on that play. Shaw is 5'6", so at 5'6", you don't have a whole lot of mighty to you, but he definitely stuck his nose in there, got the block. But Jack Waybright, that's his game. He's the receiver that's on the inside or even in the slot position and takes advantage of space with quick hitters, just like we saw on the bubble. So they have Colin on the outside, you come back in to Waybright, and they just have everyone filling in at the proper position to contribute.
Well, Bishop Chatard showing a little of everything, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
So it's going to be second down at about a yard. Harrington to throw toward the end zone. Ball's going to be caught. Touchdown. That's Jack Waybright.
Once again, this is Jack Waybright taking advantage of the zone coverage from Cincinnati Elder. He's on the inside position, so he's just going to get past the first level of the defense, gets right in that soft spot across the top of the safety. Harrington puts a great ball right down the seams. Jack Waybright does the rest, which wasn't much, but to fall forward and get the touchdown, Chatard is rolling early.
Wow, but how about that touch by Harrington, huh?
That's tough to do. That's almost when I want to take my pitching wedge and put it just by the hole, and it goes off to the left.
The extra point is good, 14-0 Trojans.
Aspen Creek Grill, we are a from-scratch concept with comfort fresh food. You can expect a world-class experience on a great budget. We've got incredible specials, great service. Today's dish that we're going to highlight is going to be our Aspen Blue Sirloin. It is, again, our premium Black Angus certified beef, and we top that with a blue cheese crust. Again, everything that we do here is made from scratch, and it's no different from our steaks. We hand cut all our steaks in-house. So our team back there it's just an incredible team. Everything that they do, they take so much pride in. They put a little bit.
Back here at Bishop Chatard, if you're wondering why we're coming back so quick, I think that the rain might have something to do with it. The officials giving them about 30 seconds to get out there, and let's play some more football. Deep kick inside the 5-yard line. That's going to be Paff again on the return near the 19. That'll be first down here for Cincinnati Elder. Hey, I want to remind you, celebrated an amazing Trojan football season with us. We're looking for sponsors. You can join us in supporting the Trojan football playoff if you'd like to see your brand right here on IndianaSRN. Contact coach at IndianaSRN.org. You can explore those sponsorship opportunities today. All right, down 14-0. Too early to panic, I know, but you'd like to get a good solid drive here.
They have to come up with something, some momentum, just by getting some first downs, moving the ball a little bit, because getting down 14-0 early, never a good recipe for success.
Brass on the carry, and we have a rugby scrum right there. He'll get to about the 24.
Brought down by a host of Trojans.
Under a minute to go now here in the first quarter.
Cincinnati Elder comes in with a great pedigree of playing some tough football in Cincinnati, but I have to give props to Chatard. They're saying we're the undefeated team. We've done a great job of handling our schedule thus far, so Cincinnati Elder has to come see us because we're a tough opponent too.
No doubt about it. They will, if they win this. I think even if they lost this game, I still think Bishop Chatard could be number 1 next week. They play Tippecanoe Valley next week, who is currently number 2.
The clash at the top of the food chain.
Oh. That's why I think there ought to be some kind of a system as you'll throw it to the near side. And brought down for a first down on the reception, that time Drew Murphy. I know the purists don't like this, but I think there ought to be some kind of a seeding system going on when you get into the playoffs. 1 and 2 shouldn't be playing in the first round.
It just doesn't ethically make any sense why the top 2 teams should be playing each other right away, which is why when you see college football playoff, they don't. It's a 1 and a 4 and a 2 and a 3, because if those 2 teams were to advance, we want to save the best for last, not at the start.
No doubt about it. After 1, Chatard leads at 14-0.
We need your help so the youth of our community can develop advanced leadership skills. We need your help giving high school administrators and coaches the instruction and insight they need to be better role models and teachers. To learn more or to make a tax-deductible contribution, go to IHSAAfoundation.org. You'll not only be contributing to the foundation of the IHSAA, you'll be contributing to the foundation of our community.
Hey, by the way, don't forget tonight's game brought to you in part by Officially Human. Thanks to today's officials for their dedication and hard work. Without them, we don't play. If you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. Sportsmanship is everyone's job. Period number 2. If you thought that one went quick, you were right. 23 minutes is all it took to play that opening quarter. Elder trying to run the football here to the near side. Will get to about the 35-yard line.
we've been fortunate to get some games that start pretty fast, but I don't know, depending on who you ask, unfortunate at the end because they kind of drag out a little bit.
It's usually my fault, isn't it?
You could say I helped you out on that one by teeing it up.
Yeah, I recall last week we had a really fast first half.
It might have gone faster than this one.
I agree. And then I said something about how fast it was going, and it drug in the second half.
Yes,
so
it did.
I apologize. I will not bring it up again. It's going to be second down and about 9. Brass to throw. Has plenty of time. Now he's not going to run it. He's looking for an open receiver and finally takes off and will be brought down here on the near sideline. That's Luke Perica there for Bishop Chatard.
It's rush 3 and then drop 8. Bishop Chatard just has naturally a 3-man structure at the defensive line position. So if you just tell them, hey, try to keep Brass in the pocket, we're going to drop everyone so our second level is in unison, and then we're going to have our safeties drop as well. It forces Brass to hold the ball a little bit longer like we saw on that play, depending on his legs, and then nothing coming up on that second down play.
By the way, we haven't heard anything from Josh Miras yet, the receiver who certainly had made some. In fact, you look at his numbers throughout the entire year, he's been very solid, but they've kept him in check.
Yes, they have. And even going back to that St. Xavier game, he had 8 catches for 110 yards and a touchdown. So he gets his targets, but it's going to be tough tonight because it looks like Chatard wants to force Brass to make throws through coverage.
Yeah.
So those throwing lanes not so open.
Well, there is a delay of game penalty. They could not get the play in time, so it'll back it up to the 30. So now it's going to be third down and about 12. More changes there for Cincinnati Elder, bringing the new play in for head coach Doug Ramsey. Trying to dig out of this 14-0 hole here in the second quarter. Brass to throw. Again, flushed out of the pocket, turns and goes down.
That's all that a defensive line coach wants to push upon an opposing quarterback. You want to condense that pocket, make him feel like the space has slimmed down just by the second. That's exactly what they did, bringing a delayed blitz, getting just enough. And in high school, as soon as you hit the ground, play is over, my man. Bishop Chatard getting off the field.
Yeah, who do you want to give that sack to?
Whoever touched him first.
All right. So they say Woods is going to get credit for the sack. Colin Guy is deep. Very short kick, and will come out of bounds here to our near side at about the 48-yard line. So Bishop Chatard will have excellent field position. They may have even moved that up to the 50.
Looks like it's going in the way of the rain that's starting to come down here at Trojan Stadium. Everyone wanted to stay dry, but doesn't look like that's going to happen.
They're the umbrellas, huh? Hey, listen, as long as it stops by the time you and I head to our cars.
That's all that matters.
That's right. Rest of y'all can get wet.
There you go.
All right. Here come the Trojans again at the 50-yard line. Trips right. Harrington has Shaw in the backfield. So far, we've seen a very impressive first half here by the Trojans. Here's Shaw on the carry. Finds a nice hole there, breaking tackles inside the 45 down to about the 42. Again, not a big back, but like you said, he runs so hard, he's just really difficult to bring down.
It says something about your toughness when you're 5'6", and you can be the team's leading rusher and have the most touchdowns on the team. That just tells me that you're not afraid to go up and stack yourself up against the best of them.
Boy, he has done that, filling in, as we said, for Riley Kinnett, who is out again tonight. Second down and 2. Play action here by Harrington, rolling, throwing. Ball's going to be caught. Colin Guy first down and around the 30-yard line as he takes a hard hit there, but holds on to the football, and they'll move the chains.
The vibe that I'm getting from the Cincinnati Elder Panther team right now is everyone's just a little bit lethargic, kind of walking around. Even on this, a defender falls down, doesn't stay with the receiver. You see him there, who's supposed to be right in that zone to make that play. Everyone just moving a little bit slow, because when you make that drive from Cincinnati to Indianapolis, you're playing for Cincinnati Elder, their second to last game of the season. It comes with a little bit of complacency, so I understand, but they got to wake up.
All right, trips left. Another first down here for the Trojans. As was mentioned, Jared, a little bit ago, the rain is now starting to come down. The umbrellas are out. Handoff Shaw, big hole, 25, spins, takes a hard hit at the 21-yard line, but holds on to the football. And he took a really big hit right there.
Luke Fortcamp came down and wanted to choose violence on that one and probably wore the most of that hit. It looked like Shaw ate most of it, still being able to keep his pads going in a forward direction.
You know, I definitely would have dropped the football right there. I'm not going to lie to you.
Especially with the rain.
Yeah.
Just blame it on the rain.
It was, yeah. It was slippery, Coach. I couldn't help it. All right. For actually second down at about a half a yard. Shaw remains in the lineup. They'll play action pass. Harrington has a man touchdown, double coverage, but he makes the catch. Colin Guy having a big night.
When things are rolling in the right direction, you can essentially do anything you want and get exactly that result. He had 2 post routes going. Colin Guy had 2 defenders going with him. He decided to throw it to Colin. Jack Wainwright was also an option on this. But like I said, when you have 2 great options to throw to, usually it ends up with that result, another touchdown for Colin Guy.
Both those DBs fell down too, didn't they?
It must be the rain. We already said it.
I know. I agree. If I have a bad night the rest of the night, it's the rain. Here's Chapman to attempt the extra point. It is all Trojans. They lead it 21-0.
Extra point is good.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
Can't get to a computer? Then we've got you covered. Just go to the IndianaSRN app and stay up to date with all of your favorite teams. You can watch live coverage or relive the experience with our on-demand service.
See the rain coming down here at Bishop Chatard. Past the deep man. Paff will pick it up inside the 5-yard line. Tripped up at the 20. Good special teams play there by the Trojans.
I'm not sure if you were a video game player, maybe so on the sports side of things, but there's a thing called 21 Skunk. And anytime that anybody on a video game goes up by 3 scores, the next time the person down by 0 or down by 21 gets on the sticks and they don't score a touchdown, it's time for the next video game player to get on the sticks. So far in this one, Chatard getting Cincinnati Elder off the sticks. Hopefully they can come up with some type of level of offensive performance.
You got to remember, as old as I am, I'll get to that point here in a moment. Trips near side here for Elder. Brass will keep it himself. Cross the 25 out to the 30. I'm old at when I had video games in my day. You ever saw the ones that just goes bleep, bleep, bleep? You play that little tennis game back and forth.
That sounded more like Pac-Man to me.
No, it was close. Let's put it this way. There was no graphics or anything in those games back then. So
and that is what this country was built off of.
Yeah,
just go have fun. Play outside till the lights come on.
That's right. It'll be a first down carry there for Ryan Brass. They hurry to the line of scrimmage. Brass on the carry again. This time tripped up. May have gotten a yard on it. That's about it. Great play there. And there is Sam Feeney. Oh, they're going to say Ryan Keating, number 16, not number 10.
Ryan Keating, part of this backfield senior-led defensive back group that has multiple interceptions coming into tonight. This is a defensive backfield that last year in the semi-state game got 5 picks against Max Mullis from West Lafayette.
Wow.
So that was just a propeller to come into this season, and they've played so well, and it shows with the physicality on that tackle.
So here we go. It'll be second down and 9. Brass to throw. He's going to air it out. Far side, and that's going to be almost picked off by Garner. Had a hand on it, but he got separated by the turf.
This is why both sides of the ball, everyone has to play in unison. I see Luke Perica getting on the backfield. You see the swim move there on the center. Gets a nice hit on the quarterback. Doesn't allow Brass to step in and throw. And then you see the defensive back, Garner, running stride for stride with the receiver. And once again, the slippery monster getting us with another play. But that's a great play, staying in phase with the receiver, almost coming up with another interception.
Another third down and long now for this offense. Try to get something going right here as they will hurry to the line of scrimmage. The play clock down to 7. Brass with 4 receivers to work with. Here comes the blitz on the outside. Parika, the throw, ball caught, but not a first down. Only to the 36-yard line. That'll be caught by Josh Miras.
This isn't Cincinnati Elders' game. They're not built to come from behind because they run the ball so effectively. But when you get down by 21 points in your run game or even your offensive drives haven't sustained themselves, you find yourself in a position where you just feel out of sorts. And that's what we're seeing from Cincinnati Elders, just not able to get anything going in this one.
So they'll have to punt it away again. Schlackleader is the punter, standing inside his own 25. Colin Guy having a big night already near his 30. One man short on special teams here for Elder, and guess what? They did not get him on the field in time, and the second time we've seen Elder with a delay of game.
Doesn't seem like they came ready to play.
Yeah.
Guys falling down, late coming out on special teams. Maybe it was the 15-minute early start. That was the extra 15 minutes that you needed to lock in and play your Pac-Man video games that you were talking about. I mean, it all has to go hand in hand.
It does. Well, now you're 5 yards back, and a really bad punt. That shanked off the side of his foot. Where the official going to mark this at the 40. What was that, a 10-yard punt? Want to remind you, celebrate an amazing Trojan football season here on IndianaSRN. We're looking for sponsors to join us for the Trojans football playoffs. If you'd like to see your brand here on IndianaSRN, get in touch with us. Coach at IndianaSRN.org to explore sponsorship opportunities today.
See, after I've heard these reads for a few games now, I'm starting to wonder, why can't he just say Keith Myers? Is it because he wants to be called coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured as much. I just wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Harrington throws, and Forrestal can't come up with it. Well, he's a very shy guy, you know. So.
I mean, he called me today and said, hey, they're starting 15 minutes early, and I couldn't even get out my next words before the call was already ended. I'm like, he must be getting to all of his red carpet events that he does.
That's right. Well, he's in demand a lot. You know, so. Yeah, he called me while I was on the road, so I was already on my way, and I'm assuming you were too.
Yes, I was.
So, so we would have been here no matter what.
We're always ready, Keith.
Got that right. 2nd down and 10. Forrestal resets to the right. Here's Shaw, left side. Going to get a big chunk of that back right there inside the 35 to the 34.
Brought down by number 9, Josh.
Andrew Troy understood that I was going to talk about Harrison Campbell coming into this game, but he has caught my eye. That was a big-time pancake block, about 5 to 7 yards away from the play, just finishing a guy through the whistle, setting the tone that we may be up by 3 scores, but this motor is not going to stop.
We've got a timeout, 21-0. Oh, wait and see here what they're doing. I was going to say timeout, but now you have 2 players down, one for Elder and one for Bishop Chatard, and then the official on this side is saying perhaps maybe it's not a timeout. Well, the injured players coming off, that is number 90, McKenna. That would be a big loss for this defense, but apparently not a timeout right here, so we apologize for that.
McKenna, a guy that only played basketball and soccer before high school.
Ladies and gentlemen, make sure
Really?
he's down at
It was a
halftime.
credit to
You get your
Coach
Chick-fil-A.
Craig James,
I'm ready.
offensive line coach for Elder, who saw him play in an 8th grade city basketball game and kind of gave him a nudge and said, hey, son, come over to Elder, and it's boded well. And McKenna headed off to Army. Hope he's okay, but that is a cornerstone of their defense.
So after the injury timeout, not an official timeout, it'll be 3rd down and 4. Harrington to throw. Near side has a man open. Feeney reaching up, making the big catch. Did he hold on? They'll say no. Oh, that was close.
I guarantee someone on that sideline is going to say, hey, that's why you block and play linebacker. Great effort to go up, high pointed the ball, maybe a little bit underthrown, but watch him here with a great effort to haul it in, and he just doesn't quite keep possession of it, and he saw it there with the frustration, pounding his fist on the ground. But that was phenomenal effort for a linebacker, a tight end, to go up, high point the ball. I'm impressed.
We'll still use that as a highlight.
You just cut out right before you see the ball trickle out.
That's right. It looked good here. All right, 4th down. Trojans will go for it. 4:31 to go here in this second quarter. Harrington, here comes the blitz from the outside, gets away from one tackler and tries to dump it off to Forrestall, the tight end, and they'll turn it over on downs for the first time tonight. The Trojans unable to put it in the end zone on their 4th possession.
That should get the juices flowing for Elder, seeing your defense get a big-time stop, get your offense back on the field, and I'm almost certain Coach Ramsey is urging his guy, hey, come on, time to get going a little bit, because as we're winding down to halftime, you don't want to go down by 3 scores.
So Elder will get the football back. Ryan Brass leading his offense out on the field, number 8. The senior quarterback trying to get on the scoreboard before the end of this first half. Tight formation, everything here on the near side. Throw to the 40-yard line and tripped up. That'll be Drew Murphy on the reception to about the 42-yard line. Don't forget Mike Harmon, assistant AD, will be joining us at halftime. And then we'll talk with the stat man, too, and get all the official stats for the first half.
Everyone has a role, statistician, camera, director, producer. Very appreciative of everyone at SRN just doing a great job of running a tight ship and allowing us to come in with the easy part and just flap our jaws.
Yeah, do our thing, huh? So that penalty flag here in the near side. A sideline warning against Bishop Chatard.
Sideline warning going against the Trojans.
Now, that was the same official who earlier was trying to get everybody pushed back when we thought it was going to be a timeout. Probably gave him a warning about that time, too.
That was
right?
the warning. Yeah. And I only knew that because I saw that hand finger pointing a little bit, so he was just letting them know, get back a little bit or I'm going to have to call the flag, and he did.
So now the carry by Brass, tried to get the extra yardage and dives ahead to the 44.
He's brought down by number 34, Eddie Benson.
Boy, Eddie Benson, Tremaine, Parika, Feeney, 4 really, really good linebackers.
First down for the Panthers on that one.
That Chatard defense starts and ends with those defensive linebackers. When you have great linebackers to flow to the ball, it just makes everyone's job that much easier.
So it's a first down. Rain is still steady, nothing heavy so far. Panthers trips left. Brass to throws, he rolls, fires. Ball's going to be caught for first down inside the 40 to about the 37-yard line. That'll be Drew Murphy, 6'4", 170, the senior.
He's a great receiver on the outside for Elder. He's also a phenomenal basketball player. I got a chance to watch some of his basketball highlights. And if you bring that ball anywhere near him when he's on the defensive side of the ball, he is anticipating and he's jumping that passing lane, just like he jumped on that ball to get the first down.
So it will be at the 36-yard line. Somebody lost some gear right there, picked up by the official. Brass high snap. There was some movement up front. And it will go against Elder. And we talk about how that can be a drive killer.
Yes, it can. Just a little pump fake by the center. All of us centers have fallen victim to it. You get excited to go block someone, you stop, and then you go, and you get some yellow laundry because of it.
But as we said last week, you've never done stuff like that as an offensive lineman. I knew that, yeah.
That wasn't to incriminate myself.
Yeah, of course.
It's just for those that have done that.
To everybody else, I agree. All right, Elder, first down and 15. 3 receivers to the near side. Brass will carry it himself. Brass, 35, dives ahead to the 32.
Brass on the keeper again.
We're seeing some level of adjustment by Cincinnati Elder. The previous drive, they went into a spread set, didn't have many action or tight ends or running backs in the backfield, and capitalized on a couple quarterback runs. Now we're seeing something similar. We saw Brass roll out to the left, put a dot for Drew Murphy for the first down, and now getting back to those quarterback runs. So maybe they found a little bit of a recipe to get some points or even just some drives going.
They're going to have to hurry. Brass rolling to his left. Fires to the outside. Ball is going to be dropped. Got rid of it at the last moment. Intended there for number 18, Braden Boeing.
I was just going to say that his tight end was out in the flat with plenty of time for Brass to put it right on him to allow him to turn up and run for the first down. He waited just too long and then throws it right in the dirt. So instead of first down, back to third.
Big tight end, number 95, coming out of the lineup there for Cincinnati Elder, so they'll go a little bit smaller here at 3rd down and 6. This time trips to the left side. Brass will carry it himself. He's going to get a first down on this carry inside the 25 down to the 23.
I must admit that Jacob Shores got away with a false start. His hand was in the ground. He picked it up, moved his split just an inch wider, and then put his hand back down. Now, I understand that everyone wants to get out of this game because of the rain, but a clear missed call by the officials.
Oh, it's just a little one, though. Aren't you allowed a little one now, Jared, where you can just say, oh, it was just a teeny one?
At 6'4", 6'5", I don't know if you can do anything in a little manner.
Yeah, everybody here probably saw it too, right? Down to a minute 49. Rain now really very steady here in this second quarter. Take the handoff. Brass throws. Ball caught near sideline and tripped up. That's going to be Braden Boeing on the reception. First down and more, and now they'll have it at the 3-yard line.
We saw Zach Gardner on that play run with that inside seam route, opening up that lower part of the defense to get it to the tight end. Cincinnati Elder now in striking distance.
They will actually place it closer to the 4. Under a minute 30 to go here in the second quarter. First really good opportunity now for Elder to score, down 21-0. Brass will keep it himself, dives ahead. Did he get in? Yes, touchdown Elder with a minute 13 remaining here in the second quarter.
Brass is an athlete at the quarterback position. He can throw the ball, but the number one thing we talked about is his ability to run. And I think this is an amazing effort. We see double pullers on that play. Watch his hand go down and propel him just enough to get the ball across the goal line for the touchdown. We saw the defense get the stop, getting the offense back on the field. We see the effort from Brass to get the touchdown. That's exactly what this Elder team needed.
So now the extra point. In the rain, it's on the way, and it is good.
Extra point is good.
21-7 Trojans.
Chatard 21.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
See some of the crowd. There are the umbrellas, which, by the way, I didn't bring one, even though I knew it was going to rain. Why bring an umbrella, right?
If you want to know who's tough and who's not, all the people with umbrellas compared to all the people that are just wearing the ponchos. Those people with the ponchos said, I'm okay with the rain.
Yeah.
I'll just sit here. It takes less work, and you just get a little bit wetter than if you didn't.
Well, and the other thing is, too, like I used to have really good hair like you, and you could really get the rain in your hair and everything, and it's shiny and
you could get away with not having to wash it that same
night.
Exactly,
that's right. Sargent is deep. Looks like Shaw deep as well from the 5-yard line. Shaw crossed the 25, 30 out to the 35. Nice return.
Dropped about the 34-35-yard line.
Don't forget, you can celebrate Trojan football with us here in IndianaSRN. We're looking for sponsors for the football playoffs that begin next week. If you'd like to see your brand right here on IndianaSRN, contact Coach at IndianaSRN.org. And he'll help you explore your sponsorship opportunities today. All right, Bishop Chatard still has over a minute to go. Don't want to make a mistake here. Do you want a good big play here to try to score again?
Got plenty of time to go for some type of points. And for Elder, you want to get a stop.
How about Shaw? But he fumbles it at the 50, and I think Elder got it back.
This is exactly why that you have to continue to play the game. You might have been down by 21 points, but your defense goes back on the field. They got the party started with the initial stop. They do it again here. This is just a great ball placement on the shoulder pad by the defender, hitting him right at that ball where he's holding it high and tight. Ball pops out. It is slippery, so that's a little bit of an aid. Nonetheless, we got ourselves a game before halftime.
Boy, no kidding. Things have changed very quickly. The defense back out there already. Football placed at the 46-yard line, and, of course, now the officials using those towels to try to dry out that football, but I don't think it's going to matter too much now.
It doesn't matter. When the ball gets wet, the ball gets wet. Everyone likes to rub off the balls with the towels, but as soon as you put it on the ground, it doesn't matter.
Brass will throw near side, ball caught by Murphy, and he will go out at about the 47-yard line. They'll have to work quick.
You'll also notice that all of the skill players always like to look flashy with all the towels and the paint and the visors and the gloves. As soon as that rain starts to hit and human nature or Mother Nature starts to show its face, those gloves start to come off because you know it ain't about looking flashy. Yeah. It's about making some plays.
Can you tell me why some of the receivers, when it's not raining, with those gloves, even drop the football? I've always tried to figure that out.
They just didn't get enough reps in the offseason. So you put the gloves on to mask what you didn't do.
All right, 2nd down and 3. And before the play could get going, the 3rd time we've seen a delay a game here on the Elder offense.
Elder definitely on the right side of this scenario. They got a big-time stop by their defense again. They have 54 seconds to drive the length of the field and get some type of semblance of points. And they also get the second-half kick. So they're in great position, even though they didn't get off to the best start.
All right, so I'm moving back to 2nd down and 8. Brass out of the shotgun. Will keep it himself. Has running room. 45 tripped up to the 43-yard line. Nice play there by Ryan Keating.
I didn't even have to call out what the quarterback does for Elder. He gets to the drop back, fakes like he's going to throw, and takes off for the run. You actually said that.
Yeah.
So that means you were watching film.
A little bit.
I don't care what they say about you. You may be play-by-play for me, but you're a lot more than that.
You're the man.
There you go.
We need to bring you back from that wedding next week. You can't go. 30 seconds remaining. Brass to throw. Near side. A little bit too high for the intended receiver, Miras. And that'll stop the clock at 27 seconds.
You like to see that ball go a little bit more outside. So in a situation that it does get tipped like it just did there, it doesn't even give anyone a chance to say ooh and ah and potentially come up with an interception. They dodged a bullet there, but look for Brass and his receivers to get on a better page, especially with this precipitation being a bit of a factor.
So wedding next week. Remind me to tell you about the 3 rings of marriage, okay?
There you go.
Can take
and I'm just going to pass that on to my college roommate.
And it'll give him a chance to change his mind.
And my girlfriend's watching too, so I know she's taking notes. We'll both tell them.
There you go. 2nd down and 10. And that's going to be tipped and intercepted. Stedham with the interception. I'll tell you what, Brass got hit. I'm not sure who hit him. It might have been Feeney.
It's 2 things on this. Brass's throwing motion is a little bit funky, so he gets the ball a little bit high and outside, and it takes him a little bit longer. And that's all the time that Feeney needed to get in, affect the throw right on the elbow, knocking it to his buddy, getting the interception once again for this Bishop Chatard secondary.
So that negates the fumble by Bishop Chatard, and I think they're just going to kneel on it right here with the rain coming down. And it was official with Sam Feeney. As you see, Harrington kneel down right there, and we're going to go into the locker room at 21-7, though Elder had a chance there at the end after that fumble, but just couldn't put it in the end zone. But what a start, though, for Bishop Chatard here tonight.
This is a little bit backwards from what they've done this season at a couple different points in this year. There's a few games, I think about Brebeuf, them getting off to a little bit of a slow start, then Roncalli, and even then Garin Catholic, where they don't even score points into the 4th and overtime, respectively. So they flipped the narrative a little bit tonight, got points on the board early, stood up at the defensive side of the ball right when they need it, and they're off to a fast start against this Cincinnati Elder team that traveled from Cincinnati.
And if Feeney makes the catch, it's 28. And if Shaw doesn't fumble, might have gotten another score. We don't know that. I mean, we can only speculate on that. But then I think about Colin Guy. I mean, he's really played well both sides of the football.
Yes, he does, and that's why he leads the team from the wide receiver position, because he shows his teammates, yes, I can go make plays, but I can also stand in the gap, go up and make a tackle, and get everyone fired up on my touchdown.
Yeah.
So he's leading the charge so far tonight.
Your thoughts overall in the first half of play? Does it appear like Bishop Chatard is ready for next week?
Yes, it does. It looks like they're ready to make another run at a state championship. I believe it'll be number 17 if they can get it done. But I don't think this game actually started till about 5 minutes to go in that second quarter. That's when both teams, not to say Chatard wasn't awoke because they were awake and ready to go, but Elder didn't get going until about 5 minutes. So if they can kind of level set and get going a lot earlier in the second half, I think we'll have ourselves a better game.
All right, before we take a break, 3 rings of marriage are the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. You remember the last one, okay? Tonight's game brought to you in part by Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe. If you're looking for great food for breakfast or lunch, check out Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe. They also specialize in baked goods, and they have daily specials. They're open Wednesday through Sunday, 8 to 2. Tam's Sweet and Savory Cafe, located at 6427 Oakland Road in Indianapolis. We'll come back. Our halftime coming up in a moment. Halftime score, Chatard leads at 21-7.
Bill Tucker.
Hey, conductor, how about something new? You played this last year.
Come on, get your head out of your sacks.
Shh, we're trying to hear. Well, I'm sick and tired of hearing your kid play the wrong notes. Where's my kid solo?
At least you can see your kid. Why is my kid stuck way in the back?
The conductor only plays his favorites.
I get her, not solo.
You see if I did?
Yeah.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working hard to put people to work. We are now hiring for hundreds of jobs with pay up to $17 an hour. Visit our website at moralesgroup.net or text JOBS, JOBS, to 317-472-7600 to apply now and get hired today.
From warehousing to transportation and everything in between, Piper Logistics does it all. Centrally located, Piper Logistics has 2 warehouses in Indianapolis and a warehouse in Cincinnati, Ohio. Piper Logistics houses over 1 million square feet. Along with our transportation department, we can provide service to half the United States markets.
rain continues to come down here at Bishop Chatard. Really nice piece right there on Bishop Chatard. Our stat man, Ray Morey, joining us. And I'm sorry you had to go out in the rain a little bit, but we appreciate you coming over. Give us some of the first half numbers, if you wouldn't mind.
Well, until that last drive by Elder, it was pretty much one-sided, but it's evened out quite a bit. Rushing attempts for the Trojans, 15 for 87 yards. Passing, they're 9 of 12 for 120 yards and have 12 first downs, no penalties, so a total yardage of 207 yards. The Panthers have 14 carries for 57 yards, are 8 of 12 for 69 yards passing, and 8 first downs. They have 5 penalties for 25 yards and 126 total yards. So,
tell you what, Ray, you had to have been happy with those first 3 drives there for the Trojans. It might have been the best I've seen at the beginning of the year.
Exactly, yeah, they played very well there, and they had a chance to go up 4 scores and dropped one in the end zone there. So, very pleased with what they've done so far. Let's see, hopefully it'll continue here in the second half, and we'll keep going and go into the sectionals next week.
Are you looking forward to that? Could be a 1-2 matchup there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting that 4 undefeated teams are in our sectional, and 5 of the top 10 teams in the state are all in our sectional. So it'll be an interesting one. We'll just see how good we really are.
And hopefully we'll keep the rain away next week, too.
Exactly. At least we get to play at home first game. Last year we didn't play our first home game until the 4th game of the playoffs. So we'll get to play home at least once anyway.
All right. Ray, thank you, sir. Good
Thank
to see you again.
Take
Appreciate
care.
it very much. We'll come back, hopefully get a chance to talk with Mike Harmon in a few moments. He was down on the field earlier, part of that 1983 state championship team. Want to remind you tonight's game brought to you in part by Tam Sweet and Savory Cafe. If you're looking for a great breakfast, good food, great baked goods, make sure you check out Tam Sweet and Savory Cafe. Also, don't forget about Move Your Feet so others can eat. Be a part of the Drumstick Dash November 23rd beginning at 9 a.m. You can either run or walk. For more information, sign up at drumstickdash.org. 21-7 your halftime score.
At Morales Group Staffing, we are all about building better futures. And during these times, we are working.
I'm Keith Myers, Vice President of IndianaSRN. Thanks for joining us. Do you know IndianaSRN broadcasts 350 games a year? All sorts of sports? Yeah, we do. Hard to believe, isn't it? IndianaSRN loves to put student athletes first on our website. If you're a business out there, we probably could help you too. Contact us at coach@indianasrn.org. Grandma from out of state thanks you. Mom and Dad who can't get to the game thanks you as well. In fact, our athletes watch the games over and over again. Our military has enjoyed the games as well. So sit back and enjoy the game. It's IndianaSRN.
Davidson gets the rebound, and that's it. Chatard comes away with a 58-55 victory. Chatard 1-0 on the year in what was a back-and-forth game.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
And I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie is delicious.
You're good at keeping the car clean. We're good at your insurance.
Start with Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance, online, over the phone, or in person, and stop
knocking on wood.
Tonight's game brought to you in part by Boilermaker Local 374. They can offer you a career as an iron shipbuilder, blacksmith, or general helper. For more information, contact the International Brotherhood of Boilermakers at 219-845-1065. We were hoping maybe to talk with assistant AD Mike Harmon, but he was down being along with his former teammates from 1983. That was, by the way, the first state championship team here at Bishop Chatard, so a nice honor for all of them.
I heard them even mention that Coach Lorenzano might have showed an appearance down there.
Yeah.
I know that was the previous head coach for Chatard before Coach Doyle took over, in a storied history at Chatard with a lot of wins and a lot of state championships.
All right, second half, and if we do get Mike on, I don't think that's going to happen because both teams are coming back out and getting ready to play in the second half. I think they want to move it along as quickly as they can. Let's talk about the second half. If you're Elder, things started to turn a little bit toward the end of that second quarter. Unfortunately, had the tip football that they got the interception. Who knows what would have happened right there. But they're going to get the football to begin this third quarter. Running the football is what they like to do. We talked about that earlier. With these conditions, that probably will suit them a little bit better.
It goes back to what Coach Ramsey talked about coming into this season, that he wants his defense to make teams one-dimensional. And that's just telling his defense, hey, go take away something. And tonight they haven't taken away anything.
Yeah.
Chatard is getting what they want through the air. They're getting what they want on the ground. So this defense for Elder has to come out and say, okay, we have to pick. Which one are we going to take away and live with whatever comes after that?
And no doubt about that. Again, we talked so much about that Bishop Chatard offense, but that defense is just impressive all season long. I mean, maybe, 2 games they've given up double figures. The last 4, we talked about, 4 points per game. They have just really stepped up in so many ways here in the last 4 to 5 weeks.
They play a 3 down front, so that means they have the flexibility to have their linebackers roam a little bit more. And that's what we talked about. Luke Perica, Sam Feeney, even Eddie Benson. Those are just 3 of their linebackers that make a mark on every single game because they fly to the ball, make plays, and makes it easier for the back end to do the same.
Well, I tell you what, next week, and you heard a little bit ago, and we talked about it too, if it's number 1 and number 2, this place is going to be rocking next week. And I'm just hoping we have good weather and everything because that's going to be a heck of a game.
We were just talking about it a little bit ago as we went to break. You got a chance to kick your feet up a little bit out on the deck, enjoying a fall night in October. But we know how this playoff thing goes. I remember Coach Strife saying it at Cathedral. You want to be playing until the leaves come off of the tree.
Yeah.
And we know this weather changes very quickly. So I only say that because tradition in the state of Indiana is playing great football so you can get to Lucas Oil. And I know Chatard and this fan base is going to be rowdy come next week.
We're going to take one more time out. Want to remind you again, celebrate Trojan football with us during the playoffs. If you'd like to see your brand right here on IndianaSRN and all the thrilling games that are coming up, don't hesitate to get in touch. Contact Coach at IndianaSRN.org. You can explore sponsorship opportunities today. Second half coming up in a moment. It's 21-7 here at the half.
Calling officials cheaters or corrupt, it's not a game.
Insulting referees, it's not a game.
Threatening officials, it's not a game.
Berating young umpires, learning the ropes, it's not a game.
Violent language in the stands, it's not a game.
Verbal abuse from the sideline, it's not a game.
Screaming at a referee in the parking lot, it's not a game.
Hey, you see the Trojans are back. We're ready to go here in the second half. Tonight's game brought to you in part by the Morales Group. The Morales Group is building better futures one story at a time. They have locations in Indianapolis, Zionsville, Anderson, Columbus, and Lafayette. For more information, give them a call at 317-472-7600. All right, we're ready to go. We talked a little bit about the second half now. Let's talk about Elder first off. Some of the keys they're going to have to do. here in the second half to try to at least get back in this game and get a win.
I'm going to state the obvious because it definitely bears to be repeated. They can't spot Chatard 20 minutes. It took them 20 minutes to get going in a game that was almost out of hand with a 5-score lead for Chatard. So if they come out with a little bit more energy to start the half, they put themselves in a better position. And for Chatard, you have to maintain your level of play and then go make those 1 or 2 plays that you didn't in the first half.
If I'm also Bishop Chatard, am I going to play more on the run here because of the rain coming down and Brass is more of a runner? Do I put more guys in the box?
You just play the game honest because they may be runners, but they also have to score points too.
Yeah.
So put the pressure on them, put them in uncomfortable positions, and get your defense off the field.
All right, we're ready for the second half. Chapman will approach the football. Rain continues to come down here in Indianapolis, and that will sail inside the 5 all the way back into the end zone, where we have a flag down back at the 40-yard line. Looks like Bishop Chatard may have been offsides.
Everyone was in unison on their little shift from facing the kicker to getting in their sprinter stance, so the referee might have got someone with a little bit too fast of a first initial movement.
So there should be a return this time.
Offsides called against Stroke.
Haven't had too many penalties tonight on Bishop Chatard. They're still trying to find a dry football. Good luck on that one. You know what's interesting about that, I was watching Ryan Brass throw in the warm-ups earlier tonight. He does not use the laces to throw with. It's always away from him, and I find that interesting.
It's all comfort. You know, sometimes I hear offensive linemen that play center say they don't use the laces either, and it's a little bit odd to me. You know, I wouldn't do that, but hey,
yeah,
different strokes for different folks.
Got that right. There will be a return here to the outside across the 20 and then brought down near the 21-yard line. There's another flag down. That was Paff on the return. Back-to-back flags to begin this third quarter. By the way, I think the rain has kind of lightened up a little bit, which is good news.
Block in the back called against the Panthers.
Block in the back against Elder.
I'd like to ask the powers that be, if the game was started 15 minutes early because of the anticipation of rain, well, if it's only rain, did the 15 minutes do anything?
No.
I just thought I'd ask. I mean, I didn't know, so maybe they knew something I didn't.
Well, if that's the case, too, why did we have even a longer halftime? They put another 3 minutes on there.
Now, if there was lightning in the area, I get it with forecasts, but I don't know if that's going to be the case.
I hope not. If I would have started at 6:30. Half hour sounds better than 15, doesn't it?
Why don't we just start at 5 at that point?
I agree.
It gets you home earlier.
It does. You know how old I am. There's another flag down. My bedtime is in 1 hour, by the way, in case you're wondering.
So they better get this game on the road.
Yes.
Quick and in a hurry.
Let's go. Because I walk out at 9, so it's all on you after that.
I hear you.
Either that or Keith is going to have to come out of that comfy studio he's in tonight.
He's just all over the place.
Isn't he?
He just goes everywhere, wherever he chooses.
Yeah, it's funny how on a rainy night he's in the studio, kicked back, taking it easy. Has a restroom right there, beverages. So it'll be 1st down and 5 after the penalty again on Bishop Chatard, and Elder will run the football. That's going to be number 16. That'll be Thaman on the carry.
Chatard came out at the beginning of the first half with a very methodical drive, a bunch of plays that resulted in points. I think Elder has to do the same thing, slow the game down a little bit, take advantage of having the ball first.
Cam James, the tight end, he's a big fella coming in, wearing number 95 as an extra blocker. 19 still on the play clock, and the run by Brass once again out to the 25. He's tripped up there. It's interesting. They only huddled, a yard or so away from the line of scrimmage, and they're quickly up there.
Trying to be deceptive and get a hurry-up snap. That's all that offensive coordinators keep them up at night, is all of those little things. In the grand scheme, that don't mean a whole lot, but to them, it means the world.
Yeah. Well, the rain starting now to hit the press box window, which is not good news for us. It'll be 2nd down and 5. Grass rolling to his left. Pumps, then throws to the sideline. Ball will be caught for the 1st down and more. Out to the 37-yard line. That'll be Drew Murphy. He's been big tonight.
I said it in the first half. They're finding ways to be effective. Rolling him out to the left, getting back to the quarterback runs a little bit, finding Drew Murphy. I even thought even on that play he could have got it out to the flat. Maybe trying to do a little bit too much and make some plays, but nonetheless got the first down and keeps his offense on the field.
Yeah, good play there by Brass and Murphy. Had to really watch that one in. Now 4 receivers to the near side. Empty backfield until the tight end resets. Low snap. Brass going to carry it himself. Gets away from 1 or 2 defenders, then dropped right at about the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit defensively by Tremaine, the linebacker, to make the stop.
This is what offense is all about. And this is why defenses have such a hard time figuring out how they're going to defend. We just saw 4 receivers set to the right just for them to go to a quarterback draw. And you wonder, why are they doing that? Well, anytime you see motion, anytime you see funky sets, teams have tendencies in what they like to do.
Yeah.
They just want to dress it up to force the defense to get in an uncomfortable position to defend it. And we saw that there, just for them to go to their old patented fake like they're going to throw, put your head down and run.
Unfortunately, it didn't matter because there's a holding penalty.
There it is. So now the offensive coordinator's over there scratching that one off the books. That didn't work.
Yeah, we're not using that one again tonight, are we? That marks him all the way back to the 27-yard line. So now you're looking at 1st and 20. Trips to the left. Thaman on the move, and he'll get the call. And, boy, just not much there. Maybe a half a yard, and that's it.
I get the feeling that Chatard understands and knows that Brass isn't a big-time threat to push the ball down the field when they're in zone coverage. So this defensive backfield for Chatard is going to trust their front 7 to get the job done, and so far I think they are passing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Very, very tough here tonight. They will give him a gain of 1.
2nd and 19.
Heard the PA announcer talking about it being 2nd and 19. Miras, one of the 2 receivers to the near side. Brass to throw. Steps up. Here comes the pressure, and he's going to go down. That will be a sack.
Brass brought down by number 65, Matthew
Woods, and he has quite a cheering section here, too.
Yes, he does. Matthew Woods, I call him a TFL machine because he always finds himself in the backfield, and that's exactly what he did on that play. Going a little bit longer than the offensive line for Elder, getting the sack, and then getting his fan section up. Rowdy.
I think they're sitting right in front of us, too.
So that's
close.
Probably why it sounds a little bit louder.
And I think they brought a lot of them.
There you go.
For sure. 3rd down and 21. Brass will throw out in the flat. Ball's going to be caught. 35, and the home fans wanted a holding call, and I think they're going to get it. Flag is down back at the 29-yard line. Miras got the reception out to the 39, but there's the penalty right there.
It's an easy call anytime you're right in front of the official, and as the defender, you just throw your hands up and look at the ref and say,
"Yeah,
can he hold my jersey anymore?" So probably a little bit of heads-up play there by the defense, getting that flag thrown.
2 holding penalties now in this drive. And that's going to mark him back even further. By the way, they have to get to the 47 for a 1st down. You know, when you're the offensive coordinator, the head coach, and you're watching them mark off that penalty, it just seems like they never stop. Just keep on moving.
And there are no plays for 3rd and forever on any offensive coordinator's play call sheet. I promise there aren't. It's just get the ball to 4th down so we can punt it away.
Personnel changes made. Cam James coming out of the lineup, I do believe. And so, again, the rain has kind of come down a little bit less than it was. You got pretty heavy there at halftime. But Elder now, 3rd and forever. The throw, ball tipped in the air and almost intercepted. Great play by Garner, but a flag comes down near the 38-yard line.
This has become an effective play call by the unsung heroes, and those are the officials, because as an offense, sometimes it's just about the quarterback throwing the ball up, banking on the defender to never turn around and play the ball, and I think we may get a case of that on this one.
See the official making the call right there.
Pass interference called against the Trojans.
So it's going to be 3rd down Home crowd doesn't like that call at all. But here we talk about the penalties we saw in the first half, most of them on Elder. Picked up a couple in this drive. We've had a lot of penalties to begin this third quarter.
Coming out of halftime, excited because you have a 2-score lead, maybe come out a little bit sloppy, so that probably explains why we've seen a little bit more laundry on the field.
Still third and long. Brass to throw, has plenty of time. Down the middle, ball caught, first down at the 40, 35, down to the 33-yard line. And there's Drew Murphy. He's come up big tonight for Elder.
This is what the run game does. It doesn't always have to be effective. It just has to be a threat to the defense. And the safety on that play right in the middle of the field got caught looking in the backfield a little too long. And right over there just splits the defenders right over the linebackers in between the safeties, and gets this offense rolling in the right direction. So a little bit of help from the officials, some good execution, and Elder's got themselves a drive.
1st and 10, football at the 33. Brass will run the football, and he's not going to get much, if anything, on that one. Defense play well. There's Woods again coming up out of that pile.
Sometimes it's not always about if the penalty resulted into negative plays or negative yardage for your team. It's just about were they timely or not. And I would say that penalty was probably more costly than anything because it gave Elder a chance to come back on third down, execute, and then get a first down in a big way.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Brass to throw again. Looking this side. Out on the flat, ball's going to be caught. Big hit and brought down. That's going to be number 25, Evan Meyer, a senior running back. Get a couple of yards out of that one. It's going to be 3rd and long. There you see Elder's offense right there. Brass and the Panthers trying to make this a one-score game. Miras split wide to the left. He'll be joined there by Meyer in the slot. Brass to throw. Over the middle. Ball in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That's going to be Miras. Well, and that one was on a rope, too.
It was on a rope, and Miras just took his eyes off of it at the wrong moment. When it's wet outside, when the ball is a little bit slippery, you have to overcompensate everything. And as a receiver, that's your eyes to the ball from the catch to the tuck. He didn't do that. Bounced off his shoulder pads. Fortunate, not a turnover on that play.
Boy, unfortunately, if you're the Panthers, you're looking now at 4th down and about 8. They got a big play moments ago to get another first down. Can they keep the drive alive? Brass to throw. Here comes the blitz. Feedy coming in, and he blows up Brass right there. Back at the 40-yard line. Look out.
I'm not a mathematician, but the math would say that anytime your offensive line, it's time to protect, you have to make sure you block number 10 because he can do exactly that. He did it right before halftime.
Yeah.
You have to account where number 10 is, and if you don't, you find yourselves in predicament like Elder did on that play.
Wow. He stuck him good, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
If you're one of the linemen or one of the people supposed to be blocking, do you apologize to Brass and say, I'm sorry, I missed that? Or
you just go pick him up, pat him on the butt, and hopefully the coaches don't say anything to you.
So the defense comes up big. 1st down, football at the 40. Handoff. Here's Shaw. And Shaw this time out to around the 48-yard line. And you notice he was holding on to that football a little better this time.
Yes, he was. Going back to that play from Feeney, I think this just speaks to his versatility and why there's a few different schools in the mix that won him. Air Force, Army, and Ball State, just to name a few. And that's because you can put him on the line. We saw it earlier in the first half, and he can pass rush. Then you see him drop back at the linebacker level and then come on to late blitz and make a big-time hit on a big-time play for his teammates.
Shaw out of the lineup, and they'll run the football. Looked like that was number 29 on the carry, Bridenstine. Haven't seen him much tonight.
First down for Trojans.
So now it's going to be 3rd down. Or no, they're going to say 1st down. There you go. 1st down at the 50-yard line. Got just enough. And he's limping as he comes out.
I saw Bridenstine, and must be a coaching point at halftime to hold the ball high and tight and then wrap your left arm around it because that's all Bridenstine was worried about. But I think at the end got rolled up just a little bit, which is why I think he came up a little bit gimpy.
Shaw came out. He was a little banged up. As Parika in the lineup, and he's going to get buried after maybe a yard. I saw Shaw come out of the lineup. He was looking, in fact, pointing toward his left leg, or his right leg, excuse me. And then you just saw Bridenstine come out. He's down there on the bench, and you can tell he's hurting.
This is what any team wants to prevent as you get ready for playoffs.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Aiden Ortega didn't make the start on today. You want to preserve your best players so that everyone's clicking at the right time. So hopefully both running backs that are filling in for Riley Connett are okay and can get back into the action.
Perica will be the setback, and they'll give him the football again. He gets dropped immediately. Great play defensively by number 23.
Number 13, brought down again by number 23.
It's going to be
George
Gadugli, the outside linebacker, is a junior, 6 foot 180.
I would say so far when the defense woke up and played, it was about the second to last drive of first half for Elder. They did a great job getting off the field, getting their offense a couple of possessions. The last possession before, Elder gave it back to Chatard, forcing a fumble. So they're doing a great job keeping the energy up, and they have to sustain it.
3rd and long. Harrington to throw to the sideline, and it's too far out of bounds. There's a hit there, but I don't think it was too late. So now all of a sudden, Bishop Chatard faced with a 4th down at about 10.
For number 23, Jack Wainwright.
That's that Elder defense once again.
Brings up 4th down.
Getting another stop, getting their offense back on the field. I see Maddox Arnold, the outside linebacker for Elder, trying to pump up his teammates. I just saw a shove to the chest, trying to get the guys going because he knows time is ticking, but there's still time to make some plays and get back in this game.
So now Bishop Chatard will have to punt the football away. Cooper Sandhass is deep, and that's going to be a punt that'll go off the side of his foot and be down at about the 26-yard line. So Chapman doesn't do a whole lot of punting.
Ball down at the
And
26.
Elder will take over. Want to remind you, you can celebrate Trojan football. The playoffs begin next week. We're looking for sponsors to join us in supporting the Trojans. If you'd like to see your brand associated with these thrilling games, don't hesitate to get in touch. Contact Coach at IndianaSRN.org. You can explore those sponsorship opportunities today. All right, Elder gets it back. Saw some penalties in the first 2 possessions here in the 3rd quarter. Brass will roll to his right. Throws downfield, tipped and almost intercepted. It was tipped by the linebacker Tremaine and nearly picked off by a diving Ryan Keating.
Tremaine understanding that so far Elder has capitalized off that middle part of this defense on the rollouts. So he does just enough to get back in that zone, get a hand up, and affect that throw.
So it'll be 2nd down. If we get a chance, we'll try to check out some of the scores. I know a few of the scores are coming in kind of late. I think rain made them decide not to report those games. If we get some, we'll pass those along. Man in motion, left to right. Brass to throw, quick hitter to the outside. It's going to be dropped, intended there for Drew Murphy.
It feels like this Elder offense is kind of stomping in mud a little bit. They get a little momentum, can't capitalize on it, can't do enough to get points. That can be tough for any team when you see that you're within striking distance on the scoreboard but can't quite come up with points.
Feels like a grind, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, just nothing seems to work. And by the way, if I hold my hand out the window, the rain has stopped. Guess what? We asked for it to stop before we got to go outside, so
don't jinx it too fast because we know you have a reputation. Anytime you say something.
Brass is going to get sacked. The blitz again. Woods is there. Also the linebacker Tremaine. Well, I tell you, when they decide to send those linebackers, you're in trouble.
I credit Tremaine for all of the defensive prowess on this possession. He affected the quarterback on a throw, and then he affected him in the backfield with his pass rush.
That goes to number
And just a cool trot off the field because he knows I made 2 of those plays.
That's right. And you notice the pressure is always coming from Brass's right side.
Yes, it is.
So they found a hole there. This is going to be a wobbly punt. There will be a return. Colin Guide getting to the outside, takes a hit at the 40 before he's driven out of bounds there on the special teams. But excellent field position right now for Bishop Chatard. By the way, Warren Central's getting destroyed at halftime. Christian Brothers beating the Warriors 33-0. They say that game is at halftime. They'll be smarting a little bit going into the playoffs. Well, they don't next week, but the week after. If we get a chance, we'll check out some of the other scores going on, especially here in central Indiana. Carry inside the 35 to about the 33-yard line.
I saw Shaw on the sideline just a little bit ago before the offense went back out on the field, doing some calf raises, trying to get some blood flow to that lower body injury that I mentioned, that you mentioned he sustained earlier in this half. I know he's trying to tough it out, but it may be time for him to come off the field, get healthy, and get ready for next week.
Shaw will get the carry again. You can tell running right there, he does not have that spark that he had in the first half. He got injured in the last series and sees a little bit gimpy right there. Just didn't have that spark on him.
Just not enough juice like you see him now. Just running off the field, can't put a whole lot of pressure, whether it be an ankle injury, a foot injury. But we know it's a lower extremity because he can't even push off of it, even when he's trying to get downhill in the hole.
So he will come out. We mentioned they had already lost again with Riley Canet not in the lineup again tonight. Bridenstine went out with an injury. Now Shaw is out with an injury. Bridenstine is back in, by the way, and the snap fumbled there by Harrington. He'll be dumped at the 30. Well, that's good news that you got Bridenstine back. Franklin Central leading Westfield at halftime 12-7. Battle of two teams in 6A in the top 10. Fisher's now leading Zionsville 21-7 at halftime. Going to be second down and 10 as we're closing in on the end of the third quarter. Very quick third quarter. Harrington fakes the handoff. Here comes the pressure, gets rid of it. That'll be Forrestall on the reception. The tight end racing toward the first down marker, and I believe he got it.
We saw this offense coming out in this second half, probably trying to do a little bit too much, didn't have that much continuity, but on that play they got back to exactly what they did to start this game. Just a simple rollout, getting it to the tight end in the flat, getting a first down. That is effective offense, especially for the Chatard team.
I like when teams use the tight end. I mean,
it's just a beautiful brand of football.
It is. I like it. That and the fullback, which I'm planning on bringing back when I become the emperor.
There you go.
Every team must have a fullback. Got a stoppage of play here with 57 seconds remaining.
Any update on that Emperor progress?
It's not going well right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a little slow.
I didn't want to assume, but I figured I'd ask.
I got to campaign a little bit more to get there. Harrington will hand it off as Bridenstine.
Hand off to number 29, Joseph Bridenstine.
Well, I was keeping an eye on the tight end, Forrestall. He got somebody run up on the back of his legs right there, and he got up out of there pretty quick.
It doesn't just go for offensive line, but the biggest thing that any blocker has to keep in mind is if your feet go dead, anytime a pile comes near you, you run the risk of getting rolled up. So you constantly have to keep your feet moving because that is your brace for any time someone falls into your legs.
So let's see. I think they're going to run this out. They do not have to snap the football here in the third. After 3, Bishop Chatard leads at 21-7.
My name is Jay Jones. I'm the commissioner of the Heartland Collegiate Athletic Conference, and we appreciate you tuning in to tonight's game. We hope you'll stay tuned to SRN for tomorrow's Heartland Conference Game of the Week, showcasing some of the best small college football in the Midwest. We look forward to seeing you then.
Hey, Indiana. Let's clear the air about vaping. Glue, rat poison, paint. We all know these products contain poisons like formaldehyde, arsenic, and lead. And these are just a few of the chemicals you'll find in e-cigarette vapor. Let's clear the air, Indiana. Don't puff this stuff. Visit don'tpuffthisstuff.com to join the fight and spread the word.
Hey, tonight's game brought to you in part by Piper Logistics. They specialize in everything from warehousing to transportation and everything in between. 3 services, 1 solution. We do it all. For further information, give them a call at 317-396-6000. 10-23. The rain has stopped. I'm not going to mention it even one more time tonight. Maybe. But nonetheless, the good news is it has stopped. Fourth quarter coming up. Now Bishop Chatard. They can get this into the end zone here. It's really going to be tough on Elder the rest of the way.
To extend the lead to 3 scores, that's tough for any team to come back from, but particularly a team like Elder that isn't quite built to go highfalutin offense and score a lot of points in a short amount of time. So that's going to put even more stress on their comeback.
Kalen Sargent, number 89 in the lineup now for the Trojans. 2nd down and 7. New running back in the backfield. That'll be Scott Semler. Semler gets the call up the middle. Semler to about the 14. You know, the one thing that we can say for sure about Bishop Chatard, Shaw, Kinnett, injuries, they seem like they can go about 5 or 6 guys deep if they need a running back.
They've always been like that at Chatard. Even when I was playing at Cathedral, they're always going to have linebackers. They're always going to have running backs, and those linebackers can play tight end. And we've seen all 3 of those things at play tonight.
So it'll be 3rd down and 6. Just underway here in the 4th. Harrington to throw to the corner. Caught, and it's into the end zone. Yes. Touchdown, Colin Guy again.
That's just simple execution. And I say that it's simple execution because Harrington looked over to his left, saw that his number 1 receiver was one-on-one with the DB. And in the state of Indiana, anytime Colin Guy is one-on-one, you just throw it up like he does here and trust that he's going to make a play, come down with it. That's what Colin did. Drops the ball once again and then does the handshake, lets him know. This is my house.
And that was to the back shoulder, too, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Jumped in the air, probably make it a little bit more difficult. Those are style points, as we like to call it.
And he did it well.
There you go.
Extra point good. Bishop Chatard leads it by 21.
Can't make it to the game? We've got your back. Just go to www.IndianaSRN.org and tune in to all of the live action or go to our on-demand service and relive your favorite moments.
We never really realize how much we depend on electricity until the power goes out. Get those lights back on when you choose the certified electricians at Bertner Electric Incorporated. Locally owned and operated, we are a member of the Better Business Bureau and provide only the highest quality of customer service. For more information, give us a call today.
We encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, IndianaSRN. Hit the bell to get notifications for upcoming games and more. Watch as many games as you want, as many times as you want.
There you see Harrington just threw that touchdown pass. Now, we thought maybe we'd see number 7 right there, Roman Barraza, but he's on crutches. We did not know that coming in, and he's been instrumental coming off the bench. So if you're the Trojans, you're hoping no more injuries the rest of the way. Will be a return from the 5. Elder down by 21, and that'll be a return to the 20-yard line. Good special teams play by number 15, Cade Rickard on the stop there, the junior backup linebacker tight end.
I have to talk about this because anytime a team goes for a championship, you have to figure out a way to win in a multitude of ways. And the Chatard team has done exactly that. I mentioned being down in a couple of games this year. Even their game against Cathedral, that was a 2-day game, which made me think back to when I was a sophomore at Cathedral. That happened to us as well versus Chatard. We were down 7-0, had to go into a delay, the game getting pushed to Saturday, and then Chatard comes and sticks it to us again on the second day. And that's exactly what happened for the Chatard team against Cathedral earlier this year.
Ryan Brass, no gain on that one. Yeah, it is tough coming back. I mean, I've broadcast a couple of games like that. Especially tough when you got to go back on the road if you're going to like Lafayette or Logansport. But it's got to be tough to get up early the next day and do it again, so the whole routine's messed up.
Well, we thought it was a blessing in disguise because we didn't play well in the first half. So it was like, oh, wow. Lightning delay, okay, game is canceled. We come back tomorrow, and then we played even worse than we did the day before. So, there's that.
Here's Brass rolling out. Gets rid of it, and a pass intended there for Miras is incomplete. And just like that, it's 3rd and long.
Chatard has made it tough on this Elder offense all game. They're just taking away so much. A lot of zone coverage, fogging up the looks for Brass to take advantage with his arm, and then they're closing quickly on his quarterback runs. So there's not really anything that Elder has been able to do.
So a big 3rd down and 10. See what Brass has in store right here for the Panthers. Didn't have quite as much giddy up to the offensive line that time as we've seen before. Brass to throw. Has plenty of time to the far side and dropped. That is Braden Boeing, 6'5", 225, and we've got some extracurricular activity here on the near side. More flags coming down. Cam Winston for Bishop Chatard involved in that, and he's getting a chewing out.
I can't blame Cam. Earlier in the game, I talked about his Shores drove him to the ground in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So it's just been kind of ongoing the entire game. It's kind of come to a head right now. Shores buried him again, probably a little bit too much, got a little bit too handsy at the end. Got the flag, and then Winston said, I've had enough.
Yeah.
So he went and retaliated. So they're always going to get the second one, and that was Winston, but they got the first one too, so they're both victims.
Yeah. Well, now they're going to have to sort it out because another flag came down a little bit late. So they may have gotten one of the coaches as well.
Somebody grabbed Winston by the shoulder pad, gave him an earful, and then shoved him to the sideline and said, get out of my face. I'm just paraphrasing for those listening.
Yeah,
I don't know if he actually said that. It just looked that way.
If you have any words that can't be said, I'll do your cough button for you. They'll know that you're cussing. So here you're getting it all marked out. There's one way, one the other way. But if you had 3 flags, one that way, one that, what was the third flag? He didn't.
Technically, it would have been 2 on Chatard, 1 on Elder.
Okay.
So the first 2 offset, you actually enforce the third one.
Right.
That's the first down.
I don't like the offsetting stuff. I think something has to be done there.
There should be a byline in every rule book that if it's confusing to Troy,
yes,
do away with it.
Thank you.
It just doesn't even matter.
Well, that's part of my emperor rule.
A man of the people.
Yes.
Look, I'm even doing some campaigning for you.
Don't forget to see me after the game.
Yeah.
You've officially become my campaign manager. So after the delay of penalties, it'll be first down, football at the 35. That is Thaman, and a fumbled snap. Ball is still loose, and it's going to be picked up to the end zone. Colin Guy again.
What can he do? As I'm looking at another celebration, he goes 1, 2, 3. That's 3 touchdowns in 3 different ways. 2 jump balls, 1 off of a pick up a fumble and go for the score. He just makes it too easy. This is just a product of the weather. Everyone just not quite running to the ball. Look at the offensive line, not even running to the ball. But Colin says, I will, because I know there's another score. And just watch him. 1, 2, 3. That's 3 of those things. 3 of them to my name.
You got the hat trick.
There you go.
If he gets one more, he gets the Bundy. All right, extra point. 10-16 remaining. The defense, of course, the big mistake there by Elder. And this is a line drive kick. It is no good. Haven't seen a miss in a while. 34-7, Chatard.
Yeah, I'd like to order a hamburger, fries, salt, maybe a large vanilla shake.
This is a trophy shop, can't you tell?
You got carry out?
Everything that you need, we have here at the shop. Very unique. You order today, carry out tonight. That's our version of carry out.
All right, I'll take one of everything.
Well, that may take a little longer. We'll have it for you tomorrow night.
I'll be back tomorrow to pick it up.
We'll be waiting for you.
Chapman will tee it up at the 40. Will be a short kick, 34-7, just over 10 minutes remaining in this one. And nice return to the outside. Great special teams play by Chapman. stopping a potential touchdown right there at the 40-yard line. Paff on the return.
He said, well, everyone else is making plays, so I might as well get in on the action. And that wasn't the typical kind of backpedal as a kicker, frightened that someone's going to make you miss. He was seeking the contact out.
Good job by Chapman right there. And guess what? Mom comes down and gives him a nice hug. You got to like that.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Or she said, don't do that. You can get hurt.
He might find himself in some defensive responsibilities tackling that well.
All right, 1st and 10, football at the 39-yard line.
Number 7, Ryan.
New quarterback in the ball game now for Elder. That'll be Ryan Schladier. He is a senior, 6'1", 196.
I knew it was only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It can only be so much before you have to move on to someone else to just get a different feel in there at the quarterback position. And Ryan has done some just okay things, but he hasn't been super great.
Yeah.
And so for Coach Ramsey's team, they're also getting ready for another playoff push coming up with their last game next week. So they have to figure out what does this team look like going into postseason play.
And certainly what's different about Ohio, they have to qualify for the playoffs. Not everybody gets in.
To number 25,
And that'll be Meyer on the carry. Gets a couple on that one.
And a little bit of odd structure to that Ohio League, especially for Cincinnati Elder playing in that Greater Catholic League. They found out after losing to Moeller 38-7 earlier this season that they didn't win the division, which, like you said, plays into that playoff implication picture. So that's kind of a little bit of a jaded experience to be early in the season, know that you didn't win your division, and that could affect you from a playoff standpoint.
Yeah, very
that
true.
plays on your mental.
Certainly does. 3rd down and 6. Elder looks to throw. Ball's going to be caught at the 40, and there is Josh Maris. 1st down inside the 40, down to about the 36.
Pass complete to number 4.
A couple things. Anytime a new player comes in for a player before him that wasn't getting it done, it always looks better as soon as he makes a quality play, like we just saw there. The other thing is this was a quarterback battle back in the spring, as I mentioned earlier in this game. That's because you have to figure out who's going to make the play. So if someone does get benched, you know you have 2 other guys that are capable.
Yep. And he certainly made a nice throw there. 1st down. Look to throw again. This one over the middle. The ball's going to be caught. Extra yardage after breaking a couple of tackles. That'll be, again, Mears again.
He's brought down
to the 31.
16, Ryan Keating. Gain of 5 on this play.
Ryan looking to be more of an in-the-pocket type of quarterback, getting to the top of his drops, distributing the ball to the playmakers.
31-yard line.
As I said, Ryan Brass more so the playmaker, secondary playmaker type of guy that when the play breaks down, but tough sledding for Ryan, and the other Ryan coming in and doing a good job so far.
So it's going to be 2nd down and 5. Schlachleiter to throw now, again near side, and brought down at around the 27-yard line. On the reception, Drew Murphy. He's had a big game.
When you get positive plays, the swagger of everyone on your team starts to look a little bit different. I didn't see a whole lot of running to the ball by this offense because they just weren't making plays. Just so far in about 3 or 4 plays, I see a little bit better tempo from everyone with a little bit of better persona, but it's tough because you're down by 27. It's only about 7 minutes to go.
Well, not enough time on the clock. Quarterback keeper gets the 1st down. About the 23, maybe 22-yard line.
Brought down by number 13.
Trojans bringing in some new names. Frank Meyer,
First
number 99 in the lineup now.
Ball to 22 for the Trojans.
Now next week, we are back here again for the opening round of the playoffs. Tippecanoe Valley could be coming in at 9-0 and ranked number 2 and 3. It'll be a battle of number 1 and number 2 in the 1st round. Elder to throw again. That one's going to be knocked away at the last moment. Nice play there by Stedham.
Pass intended for number 25.
I would imagine at this stage it's going to be a packed house.
I think about Coach Doyle, and when everyone thinks about Chatard football, they think about Coach Lorenzano. And rightfully so, 157 wins in his 14-year career as head coach, 7 state championships. Coach Doyle, 63 wins coming into this season, and he's already got 4 state championships. So 63 plus 8, sitting at 71. Another chance for a state championship. I think he's doing pretty well to start his career as head coach.
Not a bad resume indeed. And that's going to be picked off. Interception. Another turnover. There is number 91, Tremaine, getting the INT, and that might wrap it up right there.
We just needed Tremaine to make this play to cap off that defensive stand he had all by himself earlier in this half. But just does a great job falling into the zone, scrambling to the ball. Really no sledding there for Ryan Shockleader to make a play. Tremaine steps in front of it, adding to a stellar performance tonight.
It was looked like almost triple coverage over there. Really nowhere to throw the football. So now Harrington back out with the offense. The only issue is yes, Colin Guy is still in. So we need one more for Colin so we can get the Bundy tonight. And they'll use a lot of clock right here with only 6.5 minutes remaining. The handoff. Nice run. That'll be Bridenstine. Looks like he got enough for another first down. Very close.
If we talk about it enough with Guy going for the Bundy, it may actually happen.
Let's keep doing it.
Let's keep doing it. See what we get.
And if we don't get it, then Troy's going to be upset about that, and we don't want that, do we?
And then we need to go have a conversation with Coach Boyle.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm glad it stopped raining because we'll go out there. But raining, we wouldn't. Got a gain of 9 by Bridenstine. So it'll be 2nd down and 1, and this Trojan football team will avenge the loss they had last year to Elder. Harrington back to Bridenstine. Nope, this time it's going to be 0 Semler.
Hand off to Semler.
Well, I'm seeing right now then we need to move Colin Guy to running back so he gets some touches here.
Now you're thinking.
Thank you.
You're starting to think outside the box. I like it. Then we're really closing in on that Bundy.
Yes, we are. Yes. One break and that offensive line opens up a hole and
let him do the rest.
That's right. I have a feeling, though, he's still standing out here. So unless we got an end around or something, it's not going to happen, is it? First down. Trojans, again, using a lot of time on that play clock. They're going to run this thing pretty much out here in the fourth quarter. You know, I hate to say this, but it looks like the Semler on the carry, but it's not even 9 o'clock yet. What's the deal here?
I think we're in safe territory right now.
You think so?
This game is pretty much decided. The clock is ticking. Chatard has possession of the ball, so.
Can I start packing up my stuff?
I was going to say. You've been queued up nicely by this game.
Yeah, thank you. 2nd down and 6. Still want to remind you that don't forget the playoffs begin next week. You can join us as a sponsor for Trojan football playoff, and somebody got a little bit anxious. That is Way Bright. Gives me a chance to remind you that if you'd like to be a sponsor of Trojan football starting next week, make sure you contact us. Do not hesitate. Coach at IndianaSRN.org. And he'll get all the information you need to be a sponsor, and they very well could be winning a state championship, number 17 this year. After that 5-yard penalty, be 2nd down and 11. Look like Semler on the carry again.
Semler on the carry.
We had the Chatard team for that scrimmage, I remember, before the season got going, and I felt like they kept their offensive scheme and game plan for this year a little bit close to the cuff, and rightfully so, because they didn't want to show all of the tools and all of the people and pieces they have to attack these opposing defenses. But what they did do, anytime they got down to the scoring zone, in the red zone, they capitalized every single time, and we've seen that tonight. Anytime they get down in scoring position, they take advantage.
So 3rd down and 9. Semler stays in, rolling as Harrington throws, and it's going to be caught, and that's going to be a first down. That's Sargent on the reception, and he got just enough.
Caleb does a great job on this play just with his focus.
Yeah.
It's already been raining, so the balls are probably a little bit slick, and he does a phenomenal job of just catching that ball with his hands, literally with his hands. That's all he needed. That's all you ever need on a play. The tight end getting in late in the game, showing us how it's done.
Great job on the reception, and so now a big first down. That might have sealed it right there. It was 3rd down and long. And the Official on the far side pulled his hanky out, and then we had the official here on the near side now signal the penalty against Bishop Chatard.
Right after I give Kalen some props for that phenomenal catch, he goes and gets a little bit antsy and does the false start. I think he was ready to mimic what he did on the play before.
I agree, yeah. Of course, he'll look back at this and blame you for it, of course. So now it's going to be 1st down and 15. Clock continues to tick here in the fourth quarter. Bishop Chatard will go into the playoffs undefeated at 9-0. They're ranked number 1 in every poll. Down to 3 seconds. You can hear the sideline, or at least we could. Semler gets the call, gets tripped up after a gain of about 5. Hear the sideline yelling 4 because the play clock was down to 4. Henry Borg will come in, a senior backup wide receiver.
Number 19, Max Stolmeyer.
Any team that faces Chatard in the playoffs is going to have to do the most obvious thing. They're going to have to score points, and they're going to have to play defense. It sounds cliche, but Chatard has shown that they can score a lot of points.
Yeah.
And they've done it all season, and they can also play some pretty good defense. Yeah. And they've also done that this season. So it's going to be a tough road for anyone that encounters them, but we know how this thing goes. It's just whoever shows up and is better on that particular day.
Yeah, and isn't it 5 straight games where they've given up 7 or less points in a game?
That is
pretty
impressive.
Good. Yeah.
For any defense.
No kidding. Semler again on the carry to the 41. Say no gain on that one.
And even still, the most points they've given up this year was the first game of the season, 23 to Brebeuf, which you could say a lot of times going into the first game, you just want to see how your team reacts coming out of the summer.
Yeah.
You have a bunch of high school kids, so you just want to see them get out there and just play ball. So they've done a good job of adjusting and stymieing offenses with their defensive output.
And then after that, it was the Cathedral game. They gave up double figures, right?
And that was only on the first day. They were down 21-10 at halftime, I believe.
Yeah.
Come back and get the job done. So they've been doing a great job on the defensive side of the ball because defense does win championships, and the offense is just the little sprinkles on top, like, some arugula or something on top of your chicken bowl.
What is that again?
Some arugula.
Oh, really?
There you go.
I don't know if I've ever had arugula.
I gave you a little something to go try now.
Wait a minute. Let me get my wife here real quick. 4th down and 10. No gain on that one. So under a minute remaining. All right, what are your thoughts next week? Again, the Tippecanoe Valley is going to have to come in here. Whether they're ranked number 2 or not or undefeated, it doesn't really matter at this stage. They've got to come here and try to find a way to beat this Bishop Chatard team.
I'm going to be a bit unconventional. After this game, after this weekend, you put everything you did this season behind you because you get to postseason play and none of that matters because now it's about if you lose, you go home. So we can't think about what we did back in week 3 or when we beat Cathedral in a 2-day game affair. You have to focus on each individual game because now it becomes individual seasons.
Yeah.
And if they can focus on each individual season as they go throughout the playoffs, I think they can put themselves in good position to go get number 17.
And how many times have we seen in any sport, whether it be football, basketball, baseball, you go into those playoffs, and if you start looking ahead, you find out when you're 9-0, all of a sudden you're 9-1, the season's over.
The season's over, and you look like Elder did tonight. They come in, and it almost looked like everything else was moving in fast and super fast motion. But then you look up and you're like a deer in headlights and you're down 34-7 and the game is quickly over. So you don't want to be that team. That's why you need to, as Coach Doyle, as I'm sure his staff is going to do, get everyone back on track to get ready for a new season going into the playoffs.
We have an injured player here for Elder, and the last thing they want to see is another injury here late in the year. And that's the other key for Bishop Chatard. Again, we don't know the status of Shaw. Will Riley Cannett be back next week? They didn't have Barraza tonight. Ortega, will he play next week? So there's a lot of things going into next week that are going to be interesting storylines.
Chatard has to feel good, though, because when you get ready to go into a season, you want to play a lot of guys for that very reason.
Yeah.
So now you feel comfortable that whoever's in the game can get the job done.
The injured player will be heading to the sidelines, 22 seconds remaining. Well, I will be curious to see what happens. It's going to be fun to watch this team, and I haven't looked at a score in Tippecanoe Valley. We want to remind everybody that for those of you that don't want to stay up late and try to find your scores, we'll have them on the IndianaSRN sports page tomorrow morning, bright and early, all the scores from around the state. A lot of times we don't get those scores until very late in the evening. New quarterback in the lineup now for Elder,
Pass to
number
7,
12,
Ryan Stockleader.
making the completion. Eli Roden.
Correction. Pass complete to number 17, Colin Espalage.
So after that completion, this one is over. Impressive. The great start tonight by Bishop Chatard. I think that they've got to feel really good, but the target will be on their back now. You know, last year they had a couple of losses going into the tournament. This year they're undefeated, and now everybody's going to be gunning for those guys.
They've seen what they can do. They've come into tonight. I talked about it at the start of the broadcast. It is important to cap off the season in the right fashion. They did exactly that. Now you have to readjust your focus and know that now you're the team that's going to be hunted. So you have to do everything a little bit extra than you normally would. If they do that, I think they put themselves in great position.
Want to remind you again, next week the playoffs begin, so you have time now to become a sponsor. And you can sponsor Trojan football clear throughout the playoffs. So if you'd like to see your brand associated with Bishop Chatard, don't hesitate to get in touch with us. Coach at IndianaSRN.org, and you can explore sponsorship opportunities. Now, by the way, as we said, our young man to my left is going to be at a wedding next week, so we won't get a chance to talk to you next week. But are you back the week after that?
I will be back the week after that. So I don't see myself on any games. I may be down at Rose-Hulman for a game that following weekend, but I guess I'll see if I can get in on some of that action on that Friday.
You should. I mean, we need you back.
There we go.
I will put in a good word for you, but only if you promise me that you'll pass along the 3 rings of marriage, will you?
I will.
Good guy. All right, good job.
It's always fun.
Great job again tonight. The entire staff, great job. Congratulations to Bishop Chatard. They finished the regular season at 9-0. They pick up the win tonight. Thanks for being with us. This has been high school football on Indiana SRN.